this special Extrarunde with your hosts Ron and Hendrik.
Hendrik, it's Friday and we are back with another episode in English.
Yeah, time for a special Extrarunde.
Yeah, last time I think it was in December with Elvira Oeberg, and now we are back here in February, near to March. So yeah, long time that we didn't talk in English, and yeah, you might hear that, I don't know. But today in our show, it's Sturla Holm Laegreid. The second time, the first time we talked about his career path in biathlon last year, how he got to the point where he was at that time. I think that was special episode number...
I guess 7.
Yeah, you're right, it's 7.
Yes, the first time was right before the World Championships in Pokljuka, where he got 4 times world champion. And this time we talked to him after the races in Antolz, so just some days before he took off to Beijing.
Yeah, Henrik, and not only that, but he also got second in the total score last season behind his teammate Johannes Thingnes Boe in a thrilling fight till the last race. We all remember that, I think. And of course, we wanted to know, how did it feel to only be second when you were so close to capture the overall? And of course, it's interesting to know how he handles the pressure now in the new season after such a successful winter. But we also asked him what happened to him and his team in terms of skiing performances in the beginning of this season.
Yeah, quite interesting point. And Ron, when we got him here so close to his first winter games, we for sure talked about his expectations for his biggest event so far. And very interesting too, he's world champion in the mixed relay, but in Beijing, he just was a spectator for that race. So how do you handle that as an ambitious biathlete?
Yeah, that's a good question. And now he is also Olympic champion in the relay with the men's relay. He got his gold medal. So we thought it would be cool to have a statement after the games because, yeah, I mean, it's 3 weeks ago now that we recorded that interview. And because of some legal reasons, we thought that we will postpone it till the games are over because it's not so crystal clear what you can do when the games are on with all the sponsors and so on. I don't know. Yeah. So Sturla was kind enough to send us a voice message with his experiences of Beijing.
Yeah, so we got the best out of both worlds, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure, Hendrik. So without further ado, I'd say let's jump into the episode with Sturla Holm Laegreid, and I hope you all enjoy it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, okay, so Sturla, great to have you back in our show. Last time we talked right before the World Championships in Pokljuka, and I think a lot has changed or happened in the meantime. You got 4 times world champion in Pokljuka, and you had a very close fight for the yellow bib till the end with your teammate Johannes. And I mean, it's obvious that it was a dream season for you. We don't have to talk about that. You were like the shooting star in biathlon. But what has changed for you since last season?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for including me in your show again. It's
yeah,
nice
of course.
To be here. And yeah, it was talking right before the World Championship last year was quite a special time for me this whole season. And of course, this year it's different. I've tried to become a better biathlete, and it's not always so easy to see how you can take the next step. But I feel like my top level is better now than it was last year. But yeah, it's biathlon, so it varies a lot, and the shooting has been not that perfect this season. Of course, you can look at the statistics. I'm at 90% or something now.
Oh, so bad.
But you can see the whole field is also worse. So you have to take in consideration the conditions. And it's been windy and it's been cold sometimes. And all of this adds up to a bit worse shooting statistic.
Yeah, I mean, you're still the best shooter in the World Cup right now. So last year,
not according to your statistics.
Yeah,
I'm kicked out because I have too few late races.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you will come back there, so it's just a matter of time.
I hope so.
But what has changed for you since last season, inside and outside of biathlon? I mean, you were like very unknown. Now you're very well known in the scene. So are there any things that has changed in your environment?
Yeah, of course. I've tried to not be influenced by this amount of expectations of people around me. But of course, it's impossible not to be affected by it. And of course, people expect more of me. I expect more of myself too. And I know now what I'm capable of. So I think that's been a bit more in my mind than I would like it to be. Like I would just forget about all the pressure and expectations and just... But I've been trying to not be affected by it and just train as I've always done before, because that has worked for me. But of course, it's impossible not to be not to think of this. But I've tried my best.
Yeah, Sturla, when talking about the close fight, crossing the finish line in the Master of Östersund behind Johannes Thingnes, what did you feel in that moment?
Well, I think like in the last loop of that race, I've came to terms with, okay, it's now a second place because I had the chance in the last shooting and I just had to go for it. It was a bit windy, but that was for everyone, and I had 2 or 3 misses. But if I had a clean, I could have gone out with him and fought until the end. But since I had the misses in the last standing, I sort of knew that, okay, now I'm going to be behind him in the total. And still, I had a hope to be able to fight. But before Östersund, I was already really happy with second place, and I didn't have any dreams or I thought that the World Cup total was out of reach. But after the pursuit where I won and he was second, I saw that there was a chance. But still, all in all, I wasn't that disappointed. Like, of course, I don't know when I will get this chance again to fight for the yellow overall score, but I had a blast just fighting for it, and hope to be in this position again later in my career.
And going into the new season, what were your expectations this time?
Yeah, of course, I had higher expectations because now I knew, as I said, that I could do well if I do everything right. But I'm not really a summer athlete, so I'm always behind on the roller skis, and that the other guys gets to punish me and crush me really on the trainings in the summer. So that way I stay humble and just do the work. But it's when we are back on snow that I feel like I can shine again.
But if you come closer on roller skis, you know that you are also better on the skis in winter, right?
Yeah, I hope so. So that was the goal for the summer. I'm the 6th person in the team, on the test races and stuff. But if I'm closer in the summer, I hope to be even better in the winter. So that was my motivation, even though I was seeing that I was skiing slower on the roller skis.
Yeah. So did you think you could repeat the last season? I mean, the benchmark was quite high.
Yeah, well, this is quite a different season for me. There's a lot of different stuff that's going on this season that wasn't going on last season. The Olympics for once, and the fact that it's my second season. So last year I just had no expectations, and I just wanted to be top 5 Norwegian in the team, so I don't have to be sent to the IBU Cup, which is crazy to think about when you look at how the season ended. But that was my expectation beforehand. And this year the Olympics is the only goal. We do everything prior to the Olympics to be in shape in the Olympics, and we've been not racing in RuPoling, for instance, to get more altitude training, and also our training in the autumn has been more prepped for being in shape in February and not in the start of the season. So therefore you can say that we basically just gave up the total score fight from the beginning, because at least that's what I did. I didn't have that in mind, and I think if I were prioritizing racing good in World Cup, it could affect my preparations for the Olympics. And you don't know how many chances you will get to go for an Olympics. So I think it's important to make the most of it when you first have the chance.
Right.
So you feel some pressure now in comparison to your results from last season, right?
Yeah, of course. I know now that people are expecting podiums of me, and still, personally, I'm just happy if I'm doing a good race, and that usually puts me in top 6. Because I still have a lot to learn, I feel, and sometimes if I do a really good race, I can expect to be on the podium. But I think a lot of people are expecting me to be up there all the time because of my last season, which is understandable. But I try not to have the same expectations myself.
Yeah, I mean, the season started quite good for you. Your first race of the season, that was a win in the individual. The second race was a 37th place in the sprint, your worst result ever in the World Cup. What were your thoughts after that first weekend about your shape?
Yeah, well, the first race was, of course, the individual, my favorite distance. So it was really, really cool to be able to win that race with the shape I was in. And I think I was a bit punished on the sprint, 20 kilometers in a super cold air. doesn't really help your performance. And at least when I had to give it all, I couldn't save anything left for the race that was the day after. So
Yeah.
I was quite empty when I skied that sprint, and it was as expected, I would say. I didn't expect to be very good this first week, and I was just happy I had the victory of the individual, because you don't get that many victories during your career, and to take this one is it makes the season a bit more complete, no matter how bad it will be afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same for the whole team of you, I think. So the start was quite tough for you as a team, especially a little lack in skiing. But do you know what has been the reason for that? You told us that in the training was a little bit different.
Yeah, there's been a bit few factors, I think. Of course, our training was maybe different than what we have done other years, and also I think maybe other nations, as France and Sweden, have maybe prepped their shape a bit better going into the World Cup. But yeah, if you look at the skiing times, it were a bit behind what it usually is, and it's of course difficult to say what exactly is the reason. But I know that our waxers were struggling a bit in Östersund in the cold weather there. So yeah, it's just another factor that can contribute to worse skiing times. But you saw when we got in Hochfilzen and later in Le Grand Bornand, the skiing times were better and better. So I think just that the whole team was following the same plan of being better and better in shape.
But normally you don't have those material problems, right? Your waxing is always pretty good, especially in Hochfilzen.
Yeah, there's some new regulations this year about a fluor component or compound that's banned.
Yes.
And I think our waxers was struggling the first week to find something else that worked. And I think this banned fluor stuff is very good at super cold conditions. And we were struggling to find a replacement, I think. But I think other teams were struggling as well, and it's the same for everyone. This ban is affecting every ski nation, so it's just fair play.
And how would you describe the men's field at the moment? Do you think the level is higher than last year?
I thought so before Christmas, because we were just getting beaten by everyone. And of course, you don't want to say that. I mean, that yourself is the person being in bad shape. You rather say that other people are in good shape. But I would definitely say that more nations are up there now. We see Russians and Belarus also being there, and a lot of new people have set their personal bests, and it's just a lot more people that can take a podium or take a top 6, and I think that's maybe the biggest difference. I think the top level is maybe the same as last year, but more people can fight for it.
Sturla, there was a moment when Johannes Thingnes dropped out of the team, and he's now starting in the IBU Cup or the European Championships. And were you afraid the same could happen to you? I mean, he had a pretty strong last season.
Yeah, for sure. I think none of us imagined Johannes Thingnes being sent down to IBU Cup, and it sent some shivers through the teams, both on the women's side and the men's side. So we couldn't be safe. We had to perform. And, especially me. I did actually quite a good race, the third race in Östersund, with the 5th or 6th place in the sprint.
Yeah.
But then I got sick immediately with a sore throat, and it was right around the time that Johannes Thingnes was being sent to IB Cup, so it was just awful, actually. And I just really hoped I was going to be healthy again and race soon, because if not, then I would also be sent down to IB Cup. So luckily for me, I recovered quite quickly, and got to race in Hochfilzen. And also in Le Grand Bornand, and did some good races there. So then I was confident I was not going to be replaced, but there were some weeks there where I were a bit afraid.
Yeah, I think having the first win with the individual was also quite good for you, right?
Yeah, of course, it helps. But if you continue to perform bad, then you're just out, I think. So I couldn't just feel safe.
Yeah, it's a crazy team there, Norway. That's true. But this winter were also your first races in front of the crowd. But you also had the Marathon Foucault Nordic Festival in the summer, where the first time ever you had such a big crowd in front of you. Is there a difference for you between racing with and without a crowd in your back?
Of course, there's just much better, to be honest, to have a crowd there. I mean, that's when you realize what sport is. It's all about emotions, and to be able to give that much emotion to other people and also receive it back through cheering and the crowd. It's just an incredible feeling, and I'm so sad that I haven't been racing with the audience until now, and I'm just hoping it will return soon, because I think we all have enough of this COVID life and would like it to return to normal.
And how was it? How was the feeling at the shooting range with the French behind you?
Yeah, well, in the Nordic Festival, it was fun, of course. I was going into it being prepared and knew that there will be a lot of noise. And I think I handled it quite well. I was efficient in the shooting range. I had some mistakes, but the other people had some too. So I think I handled it quite well. But also in Le Grand Bonnat in the winter, it for sure was something else, because you kind of have these thoughts about shooting fast or like shooting really good, so you can get extra cheering. But this is something you don't have to you can't think about, because if you do, then you start to miss. And it was just difficult to put these thoughts away and just to do the thing as normal.
And I think they are also booing, right, in France?
Yeah, well, not for me, luckily. Okay. So I think you like me.
Sturla, in Antholz, the 20-kilometer individual was your 50th World Cup race. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's 50 already. That's included with the relays, though, but still.
Yeah. It
feels like quite a short time since I, got into the World Cup circus and had my first race in Novo Mesto, and 50 races, that's more than I thought. But yeah, I have achieved great things in just 50 races. So I'm really proud of how far I've come in such a short time.
Yeah. Do you also think of the future, like imagining winning 50 races or more, like Johannes or Marathon Foucault and so on?
Well, yeah, I of course dream of the future, but I always dream of being this dominating, as we've seen with Marta and Johannes, and also with Ola Einar before. But I think it's becoming more and more difficult because the level is just being better and better. And I think to be able to be that dominating, you really have to take big steps. And that's what I'm working on, but it's not so easy.
Yeah, I mean, you're still young, right?
Yeah, young, and I'm becoming 25 in 3 weeks. So
okay.
I don't know how young, but hopefully I have some more years left in my career.
Yeah, you should think of your words when you're 30.
Yeah.
So Sturla, now we are going straight onto the Olympics in Beijing. How satisfied are you with your season so far?
Well, I'm quite satisfied. Like, I had quite a rough start in Östersund, but I still had a victory there. So the bad makes up for the good. And from there, it was basically a struggle to come back after bad shape and sickness. And I think I did a lot of good things during the Christmas period, especially. And so I got to start the new year in Oberhof very well. And also in Antholz, I had a really good skiing shape. And I feel very satisfied with what I've done so far. Of course, I don't have as many victories and podiums as I have had last season, but I feel like I'm on the track to the Beijing and the Olympics, and that was the goal this whole time, to be prepared for that. So I mean, there's always some things that could have been better, but there's also things that could have been worse. And I feel I'm where I want to be.
Yeah, you said it. It seems like you're in great shape now, right before the Olympics. You also did an Instagram post where you wrote, "Now let's make history." So what are you expecting for Beijing?
Well, first of all, I know it's going to be a very special Olympics, and there's going to be a lot of time alone in my room, isolated. So that I'm not looking that much forward to, but I think it's just going to be a fun experience to be on the road with all these different sports and nations. And of course, Olympics are something else, something special. But we have to remember it's still just a normal race. when all when it comes to what it is. And I've done racing before, so I think I can. I hope I can do some good races there. And if I were to take an individual medal, I would be very, very happy.
Yeah, and I think the Olympics will be your biggest event so far. Are you more nervous of what's coming up in Beijing for you?
Actually, no. I think I would be more nervous if the Olympics were, say, in Antolz, like they will be in 4 years, because then I know what to expect. In Beijing, I just have heard it's a lot of wind. It's very, very cold, and we haven't seen the tracks before. So yeah, it's just when there's so many factors that can fuck you up. Sorry for the language.
That's okay. It's Germany.
you just, I think you have less pressure because there's no one expecting you to win when there's all this different stuff that can mess up your plan. So that helps lowering the expectations. But of course, I want to do my best, and I want to handle the conditions in the best possible way. So I think that's mainly my goal. And if I manage to do that, I think I can fight for the medals.
Yeah, I think Beijing might be similar to Antolz in some terms, especially the altitude and maybe the wind in some races we had now last weekend. So you seem to be struggling a little bit with the wind, or also in Antolz. So do you think you're more prepared now for this, for the races in Beijing?
Yeah, I think I made some some learning in Antolz, how to approach the shooting in altitude, and also the wind. I think I've learned how to be better now.
Yeah.
But wind is quite tricky, and you can never be sure that you will hit the target. So I think it's just important to do the best you can, and just be satisfied with what you did, because you did all you could do. And if that's not enough, then then you weren't meant to be on the top, I think.
Yeah, and I saw your last shooting in a mustard again, where you got a mistake, and it looked like, how should I describe it? You learned from that mistake and did better in the last 3 shoots, I think. Do you think that's right?
Well, yeah, it was quite tough conditions, to be honest. I was fighting a lot, and also with Tero Seppele standing next to me.
Yeah.
It was either me or him that was going to take the last podium, and you have to go for it. And I tried to go a bit faster than the conditions allowed, and I was punished with the mistake there in the second shot. But then I was, then I couldn't afford anymore, and I just had to take minimal risk and use time for the last 3 shots, which I think will have to be, what I have to do in the Olympics. But sometimes you have to take a chance. If you're fighting for the podium and you have to take risk to be able to take a medal, I would gladly take that risk. If that, if that means that if I fail, I get out of top 10, I think risking everything for a medal is better than being number 4 or 5, because it's the medals that we are fighting for.
Okay, so all in. But you also in summer did some shooting preparation with a wind machine. Do you think that had an effect for you?
Yeah, of course. We tried to be better prepared than everyone else. This wind machine maybe was a bit of a gimmick, I think. But it's fun to try it out. But what actually we have used more is a leaf blower. So Siggy has been carrying a leaf blower with him all the time. And he's sometimes just blowing at us during the shootings, just out of nowhere. So that is quite fun, but also good training, because the wind is, trying to push you out of the target, and it also makes your rifle move much more than you're used to. So you have a shorter time slot where you can pull the trigger to take the target, and you just have to be very, very offensive when you first get a chance.
Sturla, now between Antolz and Beijing, it's less than 2 weeks, or for you, it's 2 weeks till your first race. What can be improved in the remaining time in terms of performance?
Yeah, well, we have during the last days now tried to move our time schedule a bit, because Beijing is 7 hours ahead of us in time. So that has meant that we are sleeping worse and being more tired. But I think it's important to do this change as early as possible, so we can use the last week before the races to do some good training. But we've also been here in Lavatse working with shooting and skiing in altitude. And we've taken some COVID tests, like we took one today, and hopefully it's negative, so we get to go to Olympics. But there's a lot of stuff outside of the sport that we have to take into consideration now. It's not only just train normal for 2 weeks and then race.
Yeah. So when are you taking off to Beijing?
We're flying on the 31st, which is Monday.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're actually getting a private jet from
Cool. Yeah.
from Verona to Oslo because of all the COVID cases.
Yeah.
And now cross country, the Norwegian cross country team is out with, or some people are out with COVID. So I think we just have to be really, really careful. And so it's really cool that we got to get the private flight now to Oslo, and then we will jump on the charter with the rest of the Olympic teams from Norway and fly to Beijing.
Yeah, so Tyrrell and Mate are there right now and also flew with a private jet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was luxurious for them to have 3 people in one jet. That's not every day. That's like Doro, she has a private
Dorothea Virao lifestyle, yeah.
And I said 2 weeks till your first race in the Olympics. So that means no start for you in the mixed relay this time. How tough is it to just be a spectator?
Well, it's actually expected because I was not top 2 Norwegian, as I would say, this season. And I saw from the beginning, like in Norway, we usually just take the best ones in the World Cup total, or the ones in best skiing shape and stuff. And last year I was luckily very good in the World Cup total, and also my shape was good. So then I was chosen for the mixed relay, but I could see it coming that I would not ski this year's mixed relay. But that just gave me more time to prepare for the individual races. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just going to use that time well and be better prepared.
Yeah, the first race is the individual for you, so the race where you will be the biggest favorite for the gold medal. Do you think so too?
Yeah, also if you look on my statistics and individuals, it's quite good. So it will be hard not to call myself favorite. And of course, it is my favorite distance. So to take a gold medal there would be, of course, the dream. But yeah, we will see. There's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
But I hope that I have the margins on my side.
Yeah, I think in the past we saw a lot of favorites struggling in the first race in the Olympics. How do you handle the pressure now for you in the first race where you expect a gold medal maybe? I've
had pressure this whole season, I feel like. And yeah, it's all in all, it's just to forget the pressure and just do your thing. And maybe I was not in my bubble as well in the last shooting in the individual in Antals. And now I've learned from it. I know that, okay, I have to work a bit better mentally going into the last shooting. Because it's unusual for me to get thoughts in the last shooting. And I've always been able to just shut things out and do my thing. But when it happened in Antals, I was not used to it. So now I also know how pressure can make me take the wrong choices, and I will just work harder mentally going into this race.
Yeah, I can tell you that the German television always says that you are mentally strong in the when they see you in the camera. So
every time
seems to be a good sign.
Yeah. That's the image I try to build,
Yeah, did that very well. But this time the individual is the first individual race in Beijing, and in other Olympics it was like the sprint. So do you think that's good or bad for you, or no difference?
Well, I think actually I'm normally in better shape in the beginning of, say, a race weekend, because then I'm well rested.
But you had better results in the second weeks always, right? Last season?
Not always. Yeah. Well, it was in Pokljuka, but then I think my shape was just on the rise. But it's hard to say. I think there's enough space in between the competitions that it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, for sure. If the individual was later in the championship or in the Olympics, it would be maybe more advantageous, because then I can do like a prep race, use a sprint or pursue it as a prep race to test out how fast I can ski into the shooting range and like how fast I can shoot and stuff. But now, since it's the first distance, I guess I just have to do things from scratch, like find out during the training days beforehand, and try to go for that solution when it's race day.
Okay.
Last time we got a question for you. Until this point in time, what was your favorite moment in biathlon? And you said the sprint in Hochfilzen. Is it still the same?
No, I think I have to talk about the World Championships.
For sure, yeah.
Because that was crazy. Yeah. So the individual there was, I think I will remember that race for the rest of my life. It was something else, to be a favorite and to fight for the globe and all this pressure on the shoulders, but still, performing like I've never done before. And it was just an amazing experience.
Yeah, seemed like a perfect race. And Sturla, the final question, if you could imagine everything, what do you wish for yourself at the Olympics?
If I could imagine everything?
Yeah.
Whoa, then I would imagine gold in every distance.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, of course. You have to dream big. But more realistically, right. I'm more happy just to have a medal. I mean, it's better to be a bit a bit on the safe side, I guess. Like it's my first Olympic, and I said the same thing last year when it was my first World Championship, and I think it's about doing good sport and good biathlon and not expecting too much beforehand. And if I manage to do my thing, I can be rewarded with good results.
Yeah, great. So we wish that this will happen to you. But Sturla, tell our audience where they can find you if they want to know or see more about you.
Yes, of course. You can follow me on Instagram, which is Sturla. And I guess on my page, there's links to my website and stuff if you want to reach out. So yeah, just head over to my Instagram account.
Yeah, what's up with your blog, Sturla?
Yeah, it's been hibernating. So you will see if I maybe make a blog post soon. I mean, I'm going to have a lot of time to spare in the Olympics, so we'll see.
Okay. So more about your career path in sports and biathlon can be heard in our special episode number 7 last year. And so thank you very much again. By the way, you got some German skills for us?
Some German skills?
Yeah.
Nicht so gut.
Was quite good. Better than my Norwegian, at least.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm actually practicing now with my physio, but I wanted to learn his dialect. So I'm learning to speak how they do in Südtirol.
Ah, okay, that's tough. I can't do that.
Yeah. I just thought that, okay, since I'm learning German, I might as well just learn a cool dialect.
Yeah, when no German will understand you, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Sturla, and hope to see you next time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sturla. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stop, wait, it's not over yet.
Yes, the second part where Sturla is back home in Norway starts now, and he tells us about his experiences of Beijing.
So here we go.
Hello, Sturla here. Just some thoughts after my Olympic experience. It was a fun experience, most of all, and it was also quite tough with the conditions and the wind and the cold, especially. So, but of course, everything was a success because of our relay where we got gold. So yeah, couldn't ask for a better experience there. And the individual races, of course, I would have wanted to do better, but this is biathlon. It's part of the game, so I just have to learn from the experience and come back stronger.
We hope you liked the interview with Sturla Holm Laegreid. If you want to know more about Sturla, follow him on Instagram or Facebook, but also follow us on Instagram and share this episode with your friends. All of the links can be found in the show notes. Thank you very much. Until the next time.